as it relates to some of the new things that we're doing and what we're working on. We are going to be hosting sessions with university representatives who can speak directly to prospective students about the services that they provide and all of the benefits that their university would offer to international students.
We're going to look to connect with a couple more universities that we have already had some conversations with.
Today is a very big day for us. We just want to have a conversation about what's happening with global ed recruiting, and I thought it would be necessary for me to hook up with my co-founder, Alvonn Forsyth, to have a conversation to let you know all of the things that global ed is working on for the upcoming year. So, Vonnie, how are you, man? How have you been?
Busy, bro. Busy as a bee, but we definitely had to do this. We spoke about it for a while. And I'm glad we actually have gotten a chance to do it. So it's a lot of exciting things coming up. It's a good time to reflect on what we've done and all the things that we have coming up in the future.
Yeah, and I'm excited about the conversation that we're about to have because I know that a lot of people have been thinking about their next moves, thinking about where do they go from where they are right now in terms of their education and stuff like that. So I think it's necessary for us to give people a bit of insight into what we've been working on so that they're excited about what's to come for the new year. So I think where we could start, Vonnie, is just maybe talking about some of the progress that we've made thus far. It's only been a year since we've put our efforts together to help young people throughout the Caribbean and around the world to achieve education in the United States at a university. So it's only been a year, but I think that we've made great progress and we've seen some successes. We've both had students who we have coached or advised that have graduated throughout that time that we've been doing this. So just talk about some of the successes that you've had or we have had as a team.
I think what makes it feel like such a long time is because we've been doing this for such a long time separately. But coming together for this year, I was really happy because I think we were able to mesh with each other's different styles. We were able to combine some of the relationships that you had and some of the relationships that I had. Some of the schools that you were involved with and some of the schools that I were involved with. And we actually were able to see people from both sides graduating. We actually have new people now in one of the institutions. So I would say the primary goal is to set up or to connect international students with U.S. universities, Canadian universities. Right now we're primarily in the U.S. and the fact that we actually got, we've gotten people through the process, in this year itself, that's the major victory. Another thing is that we've been able to put out a lot of content, I think, in this time. Yes, we've slowed down a little bit at the end of the year as we both say this is not the primary thing that we do. We're both involved in other ventures, but the fact that we're able to come and seamlessly kind of just hit the ground running, putting out a lot of content, we're able to interview several different people. You did a great job on that, and I want to give you a lot of big up, a lot of props for that. So I think there are a lot of different things. We can touch on it specifically or more in depth after, but I think the fact that we actually got people and we were able to connect them to schools, that's the main thing. I think that the fact that we were able to put out a lot of information that people could go back to now and, get some real life examples of, different situations that different students were involved in, are involved in, and also the fact that we were able to just put a lot of structures together and able to combine our relationships. That was really good.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that I really enjoy is the fact that you're a business person by nature. So you take care of a lot of that type of stuff on your end in terms of, making sure that we have these formalized relationships with these universities that we've been working with and all of that. And then I get to do what I would consider to be my strengths, creating content, talking to people, just building relationships with people as they inquire about some of the things that we do and how we can help them. So it was great to just have that partnership coming together where we can just, as you said, feed off of each other's strengths. So I think that's one of the best things that I think have come through this merger. And the second thing is that, as you mentioned, the relationship that you have built with other universities, like you already had relationships with Weber State University. And now we even have a student who's attending Weber State University all through your advocacy and what you've done in the past. So that's just a great relationship that we've been able to meld together. And I think it benefits the students who are going to be coming to us for help and assistance. So I really appreciate that side of it in terms of, the merging of our efforts. And I have had a couple students who have graduated. So I've helped them through. We've talked, and as I said, it's not that we're just gonna help you to get into a university, and then as soon as you get in, it's like, well, bye, you're on your own kind of thing. It's not like that. I've been working with students who have been attending universities, speaking to them, just checking up on them, how they're doing, seeing how the grades are coming along, seeing how school is going. Because it does get a little lonely sometimes when you're out here and you don't have family members or people who understand the struggles of being in university. So I've been able to like build relationships with people and just kind of help them through the process. How about you on your end, Vonnie?
Yeah, well, as you said, it allowed us to work on our strengths, and even in one of the things that happened over the year, and it's not necessarily, I would say, it's not necessarily a goal or anything like that, but through our efforts, I was able to be recognized from that. Like, I go back home frequently, so I'm always at home. I was actually in Dallas, I remember I told you guys, and, one of the guys was like, he knows me from somewhere. One of our friends, a friend of one of our friends, he was like, he knows me from somewhere, and he was just asking, and then he was like, oh yeah, you're the guy speaking about the universities and different things of that nature. And of course, he's from Grenada, so, we have a little bit more of a reach there since we're both from Grenada as well. But just the fact that we were able to plant some of the seeds, that was really great. One of the things that I loved is I was able to look at the way that you operated, and I was able to take some things and, I would say, take some more tools and put it in my tool belt from the way you operated. So even though we both have our different strengths and, we have different ways in doing things, we have the same objective, and that's really good. And what makes it, honestly, one of the things is that just the fact that we knew each other for years, since we were like pre-teens, like, around there, and that's great, because a lot of the times I wake up and I say like, I'm actually doing something with my childhood friend, so that's really good. But the fact that, I know of your work ethic before that, I saw everything that you did before, we decided to combine. And, just the fact that we could combine and it was so seamless, I really like that, because one of the things that I didn't want, one of the aims that we had, or one of the objectives that we had, we said that, hey, listen, the main thing is that we're going to help people get some of the opportunities that we've gotten before in the past. And the fact that we could do this without it being, I would say, stressful, or without it being something that, is a big hindrance to the main things that we do, that's great. Because at the end of the day, honestly, I was able to attend that graduation from, from one of our global ed students in December. That was one of the things, and I should have highlighted that earlier. The fact that I was able to do that, and you were able to say, okay, we actually helped, facilitate this person to, reach one of their main goals. That feeling is irreplaceable, So the fact that I could do this with, a friend, a colleague, and actually do something that makes a big difference in people's lives, bro. Like, yeah, that stood out a lot. And honestly, the thing is, we're not even close to being like where we were going to be, in time, because we're still learning. We're still going through different processes. We're still figuring out different things. So that's the next thing that makes this so exciting, is because we have so much more room for improvement, So that's another thing. We're still ironing out our processes. We're still looking at different things. We still have a lot of relationships that, we haven't finalized with different things of that nature, but it's still, it's in process. It's a work in process. So that's the next thing that's really exciting about this.
Yeah, and we're building on some of the things that we've done in the past, and I think where this conversation can possibly help people is to understand that even while we started with particular universities, we've expanded our reach, we've expanded our access to universities and to personnel who offer services that would benefit international students, and we just want to share that with you. So we initially started with one school, just one school on the board, and then we expanded, and now we have three schools. So those are really good options for students who are looking for a place to study, looking for a university that provides benefits to international students specifically. So they provide scholarships, whether it be merit-based scholarships or whether they call it by a different name. Ultimately, the scholarships are going to be given to you based on your academic performance prior to applying to university. So even if you're transferring from another university, they'll just consider whatever GPAs and academic performances you've had in the past. So I think I'm excited about the fact that now we can say that we have three universities on our roster that provide these types of benefits to international students.
Yeah, definitely. With Northwest Missouri, with Weber, and also with Murray. Um, the thing that I love is that we've spoken to the representatives there, and they actually want university students. They want international students there, I should say. They're looking out for that diversity, and those program heads, they actually have actual experience in that as well, just as us. So that's another thing that I love about it as well. And that is really one of the main reasons why we're coming here today, is to speak about, just using the resources that, they provide, and actually directly, connecting them to the students, so the students can ask more questions, or the prospective students can ask more questions, because one of the things that we know is that that's a big decision. You want to know a lot. You want to know as much about, a possible transition as possible. It's not only about the academic part, but you're actually going to live somewhere else. In a lot of the cases, obviously, you could do a lot of the courses. You'll be able to do some of the courses before actually going on campus in some instances, but you actually would have to have some presence here. So, you're going to be leaving the Caribbean, going to a whole different place, and, just speaking to the reps and getting more information in addition to what we're also giving up on our end, the interviews for actual students with actual students who are there, with actual recorded interviews with the reps, that does give the students, so a preview of what they're going to see. But, when they actually could get to ask questions live, that's another thing that, that would help a lot in somebody's decision making in the journey. Like even now, bro, like that, like we have to check up on some of our students with this weather, those that actually going to be experiencing the first winter, and some of the states, it's pretty cold. So things of that nature, things that, people mightn't think about, but we know that because we remember how it was when we were there. Bro, my first Christmas, bro, I don't know if you remember, but it was tough with that first winter. It was tough, and we were in Texas, so
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think you kind of jumped into some of what we wanted to share with people as it relates to some of the new things that we're doing and what we're working on. And you mentioned that we are going to be hosting sessions with university representatives who can speak directly to prospective students about the services that they provide and all of the benefits that their university would offer to international students. We have been in contact with these universities already. So what we are going to do is, as soon as the new year begins, everyone gets settled in, we're going to start having these conversations via a virtual platform where students can join the conversation, they can ask their questions, they can get general information. And the information is not limited to just students, obviously. Parents who have to spend their hard earned money, you can also jump on these calls to learn about what these universities are going to be providing to students. So we are right now in the process of finalizing dates and times for these types of meetings. So, Vonnie, could you maybe tell people a bit more of what to expect from these types of virtual sessions that we are going to be hosting?
Yeah, what you're going to expect is you're going to expect expertise. That person is going to be an expert, when it comes to different things, when it comes to things that we're dealing with your student visa, when it comes to dealing with things with all your pre-application process, things that you need to have in place. It would give you they would give you an idea of timelines. Any prerequisites when it comes to possible tests that you might have to take, exams that you might have to take. Um, Obviously, when it comes to the cost. And a good point you made was having the parents and guardians there. Also, even we would want representatives from, the different colleges, in the different countries that we're dealing with when it comes to, let's say, the national, like if the country has a national college program, So I'm just giving an example. I always like to use Grenada. So, reps from TAMCC, to be there as well, because a lot of the times, there's a lot of synergies that needs to take place when you need to send transcripts and when the universities need different things in the application process. A lot of the times there are known channels or there are some channels where these things have been set up before and students might not even know that. They might not even know that. So just giving them all that information so they could avoid a lot of the pitfalls. Like I think I said that before, when we had one of our interviews before, I was accepted about a year before I actually went on campus because it took a while for me to get things together, and there was a couple of sessions like that from the university that I went to with the international director from that university, and that helped me a lot. So we're looking to do more of that, and what I think that could also do is it would give the universities an idea of basically probably some of the common questions, some of the common things that a lot of the students will have to go through or they go through, and that would give them a chance to kind of reflect and look at their processes. But honestly, these are veterans, these are experts, and most likely they've been able to deal with any type of situation that that you as a prospective student might be going through or thinking about, and a lot of the times it would help if this is for you as well. If studying in university away, especially abroad, is for you, it would help you make that decision. It'd help you make a decision probably in what degree or what field to go into. So it would help a lot. These informationals, there's nothing. You're gonna lose nothing by coming in and listening and getting more information in that. So it's something that I think is very instrumental, and it can be great for your decision making process and helping you ensure that your process is a lot more efficient, that you go through your process efficiently, and you don't make a lot of costly errors. And costs, when you look at costs, it's not only in money but in time as well.
That's all good advice. And as I always tell students, the process doesn't have to start and end with one single meeting, one single conversation. It's not a decision that you necessarily make on a whim. Coming to university is an expensive decision. Obviously, it would have financial implications for you, maybe your family or people who support you. Um, a lot of the universities that provide support are scholarships. Also, it's not that they're going to provide you with a scholarship that would take care of every expense that you have. You have a lot of other things that you would need to take care of on your own. So you start the conversation now. You get as much information as possible that you can use that would benefit you, and it's a process. And don't feel pressured if you cannot necessarily jump on every opportunity as it comes right now, but give it some time, learn as much as you can, make the right decision as to which university works for you. I know the financial part of it is a huge part of the decision, but I know people who are eager to study and they just want to get their degree, but you still have to consider, it would take some level of financial commitment to do so. So start the process now. As Vonnie said, it took him a year before he actually came up to the US to study. I had multiple deferrals myself, even after I got accepted. So it's a process. Don't worry. It doesn't mean that when the opportunity presents itself and you don't jump on it immediately that you've lost your opportunity. All it means is that you're educating yourself, you're taking the chance to like the time to go over all the information and choose the best option that works for you. So um, and I always like to say for those people who are a bit more advanced in age, don't feel pressured to say, well, I'm already past 28 or whatever age, and it's too late for me now. It's never too late. You can always start your university education whenever it's convenient to you or whenever you have the resources to do so. So, as we get ready to wrap up the conversation, Vonnie, any last thoughts on the year ahead and what people should expect from global ed recruiting?
Yeah, well, what I would say is that look out for these conversations pretty early in the year. We're looking to have it in the first quarter of the year. We already have the process going, and we just have to cross some T's and dot some I's. But we're already going to have that early on in the year. What we're looking to do also is strengthen our relationships, with these universities. There are, a couple more universities that we're looking at. We just have to close off or close some of the deals. If everything is mutually beneficial, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're working with universities that have the best interest of their students, of the international students at heart. So that's the main thing. So we're not looking to just go there and just work with a ton of universities. What we're looking to do is work with the right universities. We've seen how having several people, several international students, in one university helps, because you can have different school groups. You can, when you have a group, you can function, and you'll be able to even show different aspects of our culture. You'll be able to make your presence felt on campus, and sometimes these can even lead to opportunities after you're done with school and everything like that. So one of the things you said, you spoke about, even if you don't feel that you're too old, for university, if you're looking for another option, looking for something else, looking like that might be the next feasible step, but probably earlier in your life, for certain reasons, you weren't able to make the step. Sometimes later in your life, it's better. Timon and I, when we were in university, we were with, people from all different age groups, people who have families and everything like that, and they were able to contribute a lot too. They were able to actually, give us a lot of game, because they went through a lot of life experiences. One of our really good friends, he actually was one of the people who worked, in one of the financial institutions with students, sending them to universities, and he came up after, and he was a very big part of that whole international student group, and he was able to do that. So that was one thing. But another thing, ironically, I wanted to say is, what I want, honestly, is for the younger people to start looking at this content more. For people in secondary school, even primary school, to start looking at these things more, to start, normalizing these things more. Because, bro, like we went to school in the US, and, university, going to college, as I said, or going to university, not everyone did it, but it's more of a normal path. Like, people know more about it, earlier than us. Sometimes if you can see these things in university, in high school or secondary school, and in primary school, you can start looking at the path towards where you want to, towards the career that you want to go to, and you realize, hey, that might be a university degree. You might realize, okay, if I start doing well, I start having these academic achievements from this time, then I can have more free educational opportunities available. Because at the end of the day, right, when you do well, there's more opportunities for you. And sometimes you're not sure what the path is. So I want more people, younger people, to start looking at this content more, this type of content, especially the interviews and maybe real life experiences that people have, and also like just basically the to dos and the don'ts, that the content that we put out and we have and we're going to put out. So we want to look out for, as we said earlier in the year, we want to do that. We're going to look to connect with a couple more universities that we have already had some conversations with. We're going to actually going to have some new content coming out there, some new interviews, some more content. And what we're going to do is just internally, we're going to look to make our processes better. We're going to look to evaluate everything, see where we could do better, look at the last year, and and try to make sure that us as a combination, us working together, we're even more seamless, and we're even more effective, so that we can help as many students as necessary. There's other things there, but I think we shouldn't say it as yet because it's a little far off. But let's just say for 2025, that's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, and I think just to wrap this up in terms of what we're going to be doing in the future, you mentioned that we are hoping that young people will watch this content. We did do a couple sessions last year with some students in secondary school. So they were from fours and fives. And we did have sessions with them, just talking to them about university, the possibilities, what it entails, why you should start thinking about it if it's something that, you possibly want to pursue. So we hope to expand that conversation. So if you are a secondary school teacher who maybe have a group of students that you think would benefit from this type of information, you can reach out to us and we can facilitate a session with these young people to talk about our own experiences. And then hopefully the young people that we speak to would one day pursue a university education. So that is our goal. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. We're here to share information. We're here to kind of take away some of these taboo topics about finances and all these things that could affect your education in the future. And we also want to edify and clarify some things and misconceptions that people have about even scholarships and how things work in terms of finances when you come out here to study. So we really want to do that. So if you are a secondary school teacher, as I said, or you're teaching in TAMCC or college in your local, in your country, reach out to us and we can see how best we can facilitate something where we can talk to young people about the possibilities of studying and getting a degree in the United States. So as I wrap this conversation up, we want to thank everyone for tuning in, for listening to what we have to say. And I just hope that I could see you in the future, 2025, maybe listening to our content or watching our content, attending some of the virtual sessions that we may have, or hit us up to book some session if you have a group of people that you think we should talk to about the possibility of studying in the US or in university in general. So, Vonnie, last thoughts.
Reach out to any one of us. We have several different platforms. So reach out to any one of us. And, as Timon, as you said, if you need us to speak to anyone, or if you need us to basically give some information that you guys need in order to pursue your education, or to know if you want to pursue it, or it can be different ways. We're gonna actually we're definitely gonna give you as much knowledge as we have, or we're gonna set you up to the people, connect you to the people that have that knowledge. So looking forward to a greater 2025.
Yes, so again, thank you for those of you viewing this conversation, and thank you for those of you who supported us for the past year. If you need to contact us, Global Ed Recruiting Agency is the name of our agency. And you can find us on Instagram at Global Ed Recruiting, or you can send us an email at globaledrecruitingagency@gmail.com. So Global Ed Recruiting Agency at gmail.com. So we look forward to hearing from you, and we look forward to speaking with you in the future. Thank you.